very serious treatments and exhausting treatments and painful treatments, and they're still dealing with Lyme disease or the effects of it. And I want to get into this. I don't really feel completely authentic when I say Lyme disease, because Lyme complex is way more than just Borrelia burgdorferi. It's there's co-infections, there's heavy metal toxicity, there's broken immune system often. So it's just a label we call it. Fibromyalgia. These are just bucket terms, in my opinion, for broken immune system caused by an overload of toxicity in the modern world. So, as I said, so many of these patients, like myself, have been through all the treatments and are still dealing with quite a bit of a daily battle. And I don't mean battle, I just mean challenge of keeping your head above water. And so what I teach is the basics. I teach the basics, like, okay, why would you do a heavy treatment if you don't have the basics, the foundations of health down? So what I teach is good hydration, how to be, so many people are dehydrated, like at the core. So hydration, healthy blood sugar levels, and proper elimination. And then it goes on from there to healthy mindset and conscious awareness. So I do programs seasonally. They're about 5 weeks and based on the seasons. And it's beautiful, and we get into a group. And I interview experts on certain topics, and then so I deliver these interviews, and I have a Facebook group and a Q&A and calls, so I'm sort of holding them with the information so they have the experience of what I'm teaching. That is the most important thing to me. There's just an overload of information and not enough experiencing of that information. So of the basics, as I said, hydration. Let me just go on another tangent. I have been in clinics where people are doing IV antibiotics, some of the heaviest doses of treatments and antibiotics and others, and they're just wiped out, and there they are just drinking Diet Cokes and eating garbage and not hydrated or dehydrating themselves with what they're eating. So or their habits. So again, just reminding people of the basics. Now, this is all to say that I've taught all this, but I haven't talked about breathing. And as we know, breathing is the one thing. It's the one thing. It is the magic bullet. It's the one thing we can't live without. And so I've been shy to talk about breathing because I know a lot of my members are like me, and that is, we have quite a bit of anxiety in our bodies, which makes it harder to breathe. Now, anxiety produced from chronic infections, like I've dealt with Babesia, which is, it can cause air hunger, and it's terrifying. So, and now wearing masks, it's just brutal. I can't be in stores for more than 5 minutes with a mask on. You get the picture. So I'm always like, what is it that works for me that I can share? So I've been really shy about talking about breath work because, to be perfectly honest, it's uncomfortable when you are dealing with infections or you're a shallow breather. And I know you've heard this, but I'm just saying, people that are, I don't even know how to explain Lyme patients. They've just been through so much shit. It's unbelievable. Not being believed, and it just goes, there's a lot of politics there as well. So what I teach, instead of just direct breathing techniques, I teach ways to get people into parasympathetic so that their breathing will follow. For example, I will teach tapping, I will teach Ho'oponopono, I'll teach mantras, I'll teach my favorite, and the simplest thing, and I would say it's the second thing. First thing, the one thing, and the two thing. The two thing is grounding. And I will just tell you, God, I'd love to talk to you, that this wireless situation is fucking our world and our bodies. And I am in my apartment here. I'm in Marin County, looking at Mount Tam right now. I don't know if I can show you that. Bam. Here we go. My little boxy apartment, and I gotta tell you, it is horrible with the amount of Wi-Fi in here, and I get so ill from it. So my second thing, the two thing, is grounding. So getting on the ground will literally stop the anxiety, put me in a parasympathetic state, reconnect me to cosmic energies, to coherent energies, and my body will work better. So, I mean, on every level, I get on the ground and my stomach starts to growl. Digestion starts to happen. Rest and digest. Breathing comes back. So, I'm telling you all that because I watched your interview with Live More. It's funny because my business is called Lime Less Live More, and I've been doing it for 7 years. And then I just saw a Live More, something with Live More. I can't remember it now. So, sorry, tangents. So the one thing, the breathing. So I watched your interview and I loved it. I just like you. I just like your energy, and that's a really big deal for me. Sorry, I'm saying words like energy, but I like what you embody. So that night I did the taping because I deal with apnea, and I've tried to use the machines, and they're just causes even more anxiety. So I did that. I have POTS too, so a lot of the breathing issues are structural as well. So there's infections, and then there's structural issues. So I did the taping, and I had a beautiful night because I was forced to do the nasal breathing and do the long exhales. Now, I met Wim Hof at a conference, and he's, obviously you have too much carbon dioxide and you need to focus on the exhale. And what I find fascinating about that, James, is that I want to go deeper into this, but the carbon dioxide is an issue with Lyme patients. It's not a big surprise, but even before they got Lyme, many of us have been, I don't know how to say it, candy for mosquitoes and bugs, like ticks. For me, it was mosquitoes. I could be out somewhere, and we used to go to the Russian River when I was a kid, and people would get 1 or 2, and I'd get 25. So they used to say, oh, you have sweet blood. Well, I'm starting to understand now that it's carbon dioxide. So that's what they're attracted to. So isn't that interesting? So you can actually ward off these bugs, insects. So there's so much I want to talk to you about, and just to pick your brain about this with the breath work. And I want to add here, without making this too long, it's already 11 minutes. I want to add that when I was a younger woman, I studied a lot of spirituality, and I don't want to say yoga because it was more than that. It was deeper, like who are we, more Steiner kind of thing. I didn't know about Steiner, but it was more like that, like what is my connection. And I had a teacher that taught me Kriya Yoga, and I think he studied with the lineage of Paramahansa Yogananda down in, he's an ashram down in San Diego, and beautiful soul. And so I'm sure you know of him, but I studied Kriya Yoga, and I awakened, let's put it that way, from where I was before to after doing this. I was a different person, and I was able to sort of control, if that's the word, control by letting go my life. And it was so profound, and I've always wanted to share something of that, because I did the deep, we used to call them really technical names like suck ups and suck down, and then blow the other way, and they were powerful. And then the hyperventilating breaths and those kind of things where you would actually sort of go out. But I've wanted to give something like this to my people and share with anyone with chronic illness how they can harness the one thing. Even in the middle of the night when the symptoms are so intense, this is what I always wanted to teach people, is what can you do, and how can you manage it, and how can you get back to trust. And I know breathing is the one thing that we can't live without, and if we can harness it in the right way, we will gain control. And that along with the tapping, that along with essential oils, that is along with Ho'oponopono or any mantras, can have a profound effect. And I'm really excited what's possible.